YouTube and Happy Days Network is proud to bring to you the best wrestling championship in the world. It's CMC. And we've got to my right, your left, is the one and only Wild Child, Kyle Wilde. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful.
This is amazing. This is a first ever deal here. We've got a live episode of the Wrestling Guy podcast. It's me, it's you. We're live. We're here. We're ready to go. And we're going to be doing this today. I'm going to start sharing this link. Kyle, you tell me how you have been doing today.
Oh, man. I woke up. Like, hands of God, and I was just like, what the fuck? And just had a great day since.
Exactly. We have had quite an interesting day here in, or I should say, an interesting week in the world of pro wrestling. Let's give this a share here. All right, there we go. And we're going to talk to you about it here today. First and foremost, I'm going to ask you to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff that YouTubers tell you to do, because I ain't going to tell you to do it, but more than probably 2 more times. Yeah, that's about right. And get high, man. It's a Saturday. It's noon o'clock, man. We over here, we doing it big. I'm sick. I'm getting over being sick, and I'm ready to smoke some weed. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to talk about some wrestling and do some smoking. So without further ado, Kyle, get us introduced to what we are talking about today.
So we are going over the Darby Allin over an AEW situation. What happened over there this week on, what is it, AEW Dynamite. I'm not too big over there. I saw a reel of it, and I was like, oh, wow.
Why don't you pull that reel up on your phone really quick so that we can show everybody. We can watch this video here, because I'm not as well versed with this podcast shit as I need to be right now, but we're getting there. We will get there. Everybody needs to comment, drop some comments down there, see how we're feeling today, man. I know you guys are having a wonderful Saturday. At least I hope you are. And if you're not, let us know why you're not, man. Did you not like SmackDown last night? Was there something that really pissed you off this week in the world of wrestling? It doesn't matter. I want to talk about it with you here today. That's what I want to do. So as he's pulling that up, I didn't catch Dynamite this week, but from what I've heard, they did a little bit of an angle where there was a pyro malfunction, and very similar to what we saw back in the early 2000s, late 2000, whatever, into the 2010s with Jeff Hardy. A lot of people like to compare.
I'll share a link of the video to you. Would you be able to pull it up so they can see
I'm not sure if I can do that, but if we just flip it over, we should be able to. Yeah, we should be able to do that for right now.
Because I found what everybody see at home.
Right. This is what everybody got to see at home today.
Pause the fucking.
Okay, let's see here. There we go. All right. And we got to make sure that the volume's up. Right? There we go. Volume is up.
There we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happened to Darby Allin this week on Dynamite. All right, and that's about where we'll stop it there. Now, if you're a pro wrestling fan and you grew up watching this stuff, then you know, like I said, this happened in the WWE a couple years ago, more than a couple years ago now, with Jeff Hardy. And a lot of bad things started to happen to Jeff Hardy. And it was almost like there was a black cloud following around Jeff Hardy throughout the locker room. And we found out in the end that it was Matt. It was his own brother that was doing these things to him. His dog died, I believe. Somebody killed his dog. He was getting into a car. He got into a car accident on his way to the arena. The pyro went off and malfunctioned. So they're going along the lines of sympathy. That's basically what this is right here. If you don't understand what this professional wrestling storyline is, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get even more sympathy on a guy that already has sympathy. He's a very good babyface. He's always the underdog. He's a smaller guy. He's got a great attitude. I love Darby Allin. Everything that I've really ever seen from him, I've been a fan of. And he's only gotten better over the years. I think he's a great addition to the AEW roster. And what they're trying to do is just appeal even more to maybe some of the kids that are, watching. From what I've noticed, more or less, it's adults that watch AEW because it's more geared toward adults. And maybe mom and dad are watching the show, and he's, son steps in and says, "Whoa, who's that guy? Why'd he get blown up? Why'd that happen?" It might it might get more people involved. Kyle, what do you think of it?
I think you are exactly on the nose with that one. More people get involved because, that's exactly what happened to me when I was a kid. It was TLC 2, WrestleMania X7, 17. It was Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy versus Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys. When Edge speared, it was the exact moment when Edge speared Matt or Jeff off the belts, off the ladder. And that is what caught my attention. I was like, whoa, what the fuck happened? Why did he do that? What the fuck's going on?
It's one of the most iconic WWE moments of all time, one of the most iconic professional wrestling moments of all time. And I guarantee you, if you're watching this podcast or if you watch pro wrestling, you know exactly the moment he's talking about right now. WrestleMania 17. It's all
because my cousin bought it at Goodwill. He found it at Goodwill on the DVD that they had back then.
Yeah.
They all came out on DVDs.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I'm a fucking old DVDs. What are DVDs?
I got a couple of things from the Half Price Books. So I don't know how well Half Price Books is around the United States, but there's a discount bookstore by my house called Half Price Books, and they had a bunch of WWE books in there. I got a WWE cookbook. I got a bunch of stuff, and there was basically WrestleMania 2000, the event in a book. And it was like all published book, like a big giant book, and you could go through it, and it would show matches, pictures of the matches, and explain things that happened. And then in the back was a DVD. And I've never looked at the DVD. I don't know if it's a DVD of the actual show or if it's just like a compilation of things, but it might be. Either way, you could just go on the WWE Network and watch that, or Peacock rather. For people in the United States, obviously people across the pond, you still get the luxury of having the WWE Network.
Is it?
But
aren't there some WrestleManias on Netflix now too?
I believe some of the WrestleManias are on Netflix. A lot of the stuff is off of Peacock now, because it just seems like the live events are what's on Peacock. Well, not even that. The live events are on ESPN, but then there's some stuff that's still on Peacock. But then, like Sunday night's main event here in a couple. When is that? Is that tomorrow? Is Sunday night's main event tomorrow?
Today's Sunday.
No, today's Saturday.
Today is Saturday. I'm high as fuck, y'all.
So tomorrow night, Sunday night main event, I believe, which is tomorrow.
Yeah, it is tomorrow.
That's going to be on NBC Universal, so that'll be on Peacock, or you can watch that on NBC. So it's all of these three things. They've got ESPN, they've got this, they've got that. They've got to get this under control, but we're kind of getting off topic here. We talked a little bit about Darby Allin. And I think that this is a good route for him. I think they need to keep trying to build these homegrown stars in AEW that they have. They need to stop focusing so much on going out and getting the guys that leave TNA or WWE or New Japan or whatever. They need to stop focusing on these guys that nobody really knows. And this is somebody that I'm going to go out and say it. There's a lot of people that generally, if you don't watch professional wrestling, you're not going to know who the New Day is. I'm sorry. You might know. You might have seen them a couple of times, but not a lot of people know who the New Day is. You know who Roman Reigns is, I bet. You know who John Cena is. I bet you know who CM Punk is. You might know who Cody Rhodes is. He's on a decent amount of commercials nowadays. He's in movies. He's in a lot of different things. So I think Cody Rhodes is getting up to that level. But when you get into the category of these other mid-card guys that I think they're paying a lot of money for in a company that they don't need to be paying that much money for guys like that, and they need to be focusing on bigger name guys that are actually going to turn a rating when people see that they showed up. And this is coming from, like I said, a pro wrestling fan that knows every pro wrestler on the rosters. I know where they go. I know where what company they're signed to, and I know all these different things. But Jessica down the street might not know that, and Michael over here definitely doesn't know it because he only watches WWE on WrestleMania. Right. So if you see Like Chad Gable going to AEW if that happened. Or how about this? Let's even bring this up. Ilya Dragunov is rumored right now that he's not going to resign his contract and he's going to walk. And he's probably going to go to AEW, which is a very upsetting thing for me because I love Ilya Dragunov. But here's the problem. Him going to AEW does nothing for the pro wrestling business other than creates more jobs. Just, he's had a job here and he came over here and now he has a job here. That's great. That's awesome. But it doesn't do anything for AEW as a company because it's not a big enough name person. Now they can build him up and do something. You need to focus on the guys that you have like Swerve. I think Swerve has come a long way. Swerve is somebody that, was not really anybody too much of a note coming out of WWE. He had done some things with Hit Row in NXT and then going to the main roster. And then they just completely, for whatever reason, lost interest in him. And they shipped him off and he went to AEW and he's done an amazing job. And it seems like, as I was talking about previous, the New Day is going to be coming in there and joining him and doing their thing. But when you don't have big enough name guys that are coming in that are making people change the channel, that's the biggest thing. In the Attitude Era, the reason why so many people were changing channels is because everybody knew who everybody was. And, we were WCW fans, and all of a sudden, Bret Hart just showed up on my TV show. Well, I know who Bret Hart is because he's a star.
Yeah.
And some of these guys just need, and gals too. I'm not just picking on the guys. I'm picking on the girls too. I'm picking on everybody. They need to do a little bit better of a job of getting themselves over and getting themselves noticeable. You know what I mean? Or they're only going to get these companies so far.
Right. A storyteller can only write so much, or better yet, a director or for a movie or a screenwriter for a movie can only write so much. It is up to the actor or the actresses. I hate to say compare it to acting and shit, but in the end of the day, they are scripted out. Hey, I'm going to jump off of the frog splash you midway through.
Right.
It is up to them at that point to make that look as good.
Believable, yeah. It's called selling.
Selling, exactly. And it is up to them to make them crowd believe them and fall in love with them.
Correct. And again, it goes back to the whole thing. I think that a lot of, and this is not an attack on AEW, this is an attack on pro wrestling as a whole. I think there's a lot of unbelievable shit that we see on our TV screens that we're just told to just, when you see people standing up on the top rope together and they're standing up there for 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds and they're fixing their feet and they're going like this and they're talking and they're saying, okay, you ready? Are you ready to do the move now? Are you ready to jump and do this move now and make it look fake? And then they do it and it looks fake because it is. Yeah. I think that sometimes people are a little too ambitious. I'll bring up Bray Wyatt. I love Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is one of my favorite talents of all time. He was a huge inspiration on what I do every single day in life. The creativity, his ability to just go out there and be interesting and be different. I feel like sometimes Bray Wyatt's idea of what wrestling could be was a bit too ambitious. There was a bit too much, and it's a bit too spooky, kind of goofy, kind of whoa. When we start doing the lightning bolts from the fingers, and they're not live in the arena, but I see it at home, and we're seeing magic happen. It's funny when Danhausen does it because they kind of allow you to know, like, okay, this is nobody really believes that he's magic, and I don't think he has any kind of powers, but somehow things keep happening in his favor when he says you're cursed. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like a happenstance type of thing. He's a comedic act. He's not taken seriously.
Exactly.
Bray Wyatt was taken very seriously, and that's the issue. When you start to ooga booga people, all of a sudden you're going to start thinking about Papa Shango making Ultimate Warrior puke up black goo. And it's a little 80s. It's a little campy. It's a little too much for me. But that's why I think that Bray Wyatt living in that swamp cult leader, when he first debuted onto the main roster and everybody knew who Bray Wyatt was not as Husky Harris, but as Bray Wyatt with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan by his side. Nobody else, no Braun Strowman, no nothing. Just the three of them. That's where they were at their best because it was real. Those people exist. You go to the backwoods of Louisiana, you go to the backwoods of Alabama, you're gonna meet those people. You're gonna find some of those creepy cult-like people. That's based off of a character, Waylon Mercy, which Waylon Mercy was based off of Robert De Niro's character in Cape Fear. And if you watch the movie Cape Fear with Robert De Niro, you'll see the direct inspiration in both of those gimmicks. But it's a little, when you get in, like I said, with the powers and the stuff like that, and I think along with that, when you start doing stuff that looks fake, you just are doing things that look fake, you're doing moves that look fake, that's not believable, nobody could ever do that. We all kind of know that if you punch somebody in the face as hard as they're punching each other in the face, you're not going to like wake up. Sometimes, you know what I mean? You're going to be knocked out. I mean, they're clobbering each other. So we know that there's a bit of a give and take here. And there's a bit of, how should I say, believability, that expanding my imagination. And I'm willing to do that. I do that with movies. I do that with video games. I do that with every other form of media. But when you kind of make it look stupid, I do it with every other form of media, and I don't like that. I call it stupid there, so why shouldn't I call it stupid here? I'm tired of sticking up for it just because I'm such a big fan of pro wrestling. Pro wrestling needs an overhaul, people, and that is just the end of it. It's not realistic enough. There's not enough people doing what needs to be done to sell tickets and put butts in seats. Period. End of story. Does that mean I'm going to stop watching? No, not at all. But it does mean that I'm going to be here every single Saturday talking about my opinions, whether it's good, bad, in between, indifferent, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm here to talk about wrestling with you, and I want to know what you guys think. So go in the comments right now. Drop some comments below. Please let us know what is going on and how you've been thinking. Let's switch gears. We kind of were talking a little bit about WWE. Let's switch gears. And let's talk. Yep, do a little and let's go back in time. We'll go back in time. We're here on Monday night, and we are watching Solo Sikoa in the ring with Roman Reigns. And he's telling him, it's time. You have to acknowledge me again. It's time. You lost. You didn't do what you said you were going to do. And now it's time that you acknowledge me again as your tribal chief. LA Knight comes out and does LA Knight things. Ends up getting himself beat up and in the ring. And Roman says, I'm not going to be the one to hit him. You are, Solo. And he goes, he's looking at him and he's telling him, and he's going, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And he goes to hit LA Knight and wham, whacks Roman Reigns. It was awesome. I popped huge. It was a great moment. I loved it. I love where Solo's going. I'm getting goosebumps talking about this because I really think that Solo is on his way up. No pun intended with the putting the ones up, but he's on his way up the card for real. He's better. He's gotten much better on the mic. I don't think he ever wanted to be that solid face, stone face killer. He always wanted to be able to show that bit of goofiness that he has in there. He's got a lot of The Rock in him, that charismaticness. And I think that sometimes with the Samoan bloodline, we think, oh, they're so hard and they're these big guys, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's not always like that. People are just people and they're characteristic of themselves. So it's great to see that Solo's doing this. Also, I want to touch on this. While that was all happening in the ring, you could see a very upset Jacob Fatu in the background.
Yes, he was.
And the reasoning is because Jay did all of this without Roman's approval. And Roman's just fine with it. In fact, what did they do at the end of the segment? He made them tribal captains. And Jacob's in the back like, what? Because the whole reason that Jacob is back in the bloodline is because he didn't listen to Roman Reigns. But Jey Uso didn't listen to Roman Reigns, and he gets rewarded. So this is the start of that chain beginning to break. Jacob is going to end up snapping soon. I would say by the end of the year, I would really milk it. Really milk it. Why not? It's a great storyline. You've got people invested. It's your main storyline. It's Bloodline doing the Bloodline things. They create ratings. I'll give them that. There is very good TV when the Bloodline is involved. But Jacob needs to end up turning on Roman sometime before the year ends, because I think that Jacob is too big to just be bogged down in the Bloodline. I think he's good just over here by himself. And it's a compelling story because maybe down the line somebody else beats Roman, that then sets up Jacob versus Roman non-title, and Jacob can get a win over Roman because it's non-title. They might not want to put Jacob over Roman for the belt. Or maybe they do. Maybe he gets out of that. Jacob says, fuck you, I want the belt. He beats Roman and he takes the belt off of him. Who knows? But that's a very bold move there. I don't know if I would just put the belt on Jacob Fatu right there. Now, in 3 months from now, I might be singing a different song. But what do you think about the whole Solo Sikoa joining the Bloodline, not joining the Bloodline, hitting Roman Reigns, the Usos getting rewarded for really not listening to the tribal chief, and then Jacob being a little confused about it all?
Honestly, whole Solo not listening to Roman, saw it coming a mile away.
Of course.
Last week I even said I only see it lasting a month at most. I called it. Hate to say it. And then the whole Jacob Fatu and the Usos, they're just trying to have a penis measuring competition at that point.
That's the case. That's the case.
Like, honestly, you get a colored necklace and you get a colored necklace. That's how I see it.
Well, in their culture, it means a little bit more than just a colored necklace, I think. But I understand what you're talking about.
Yes.
I've never been the biggest Roman Reigns fan, but I don't hate it.
I hate that I sound so much like a fucking dick right now. I hate that I sound.
It's your opinion, man. That's what you're here for. That's why you're on the show.
Clarify this, why I sound like this. It's because the WWE does such a shitty job at building up why this has so much meaning, why this is so important. So,
I'm going to actually play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to say I disagree. I think they do a very good job of why stuff is happening. On the flip side, AEW does not. WWE will show you a video package for a month leading up to somebody debuting in the company. AEW will just pop them in front of you, and the commentators are, oh my God, he's here. And I'm sitting at home going, who is he?
Yeah.
And so is half of the fucking people watching at home because they don't watch New Japan. They don't watch TNA. They don't watch these other shows. They watch that show. That's what it is. Now, last night, WWE did something very interesting. They had a surprise debut. But here's the thing. I shouldn't even say that. Shinsuke has been teasing this for weeks, that he's bringing a partner. I'm bringing somebody. Somebody's coming. He's going to be my partner. And who was it? It was Takahashi. And that's a big name. That's a big name. But again, we're going to go back, and what I do over here, I'm going to do over here. He's not big enough, I don't think, to just immediately make people be like, oh my God, Takahashi's in WWE. I got to watch tonight. No. Give it a couple weeks, build it up, give it something good, and actually give them something, decent. It's a tag team. We know what WWE does with the tag division. They don't really like tag team wrestling, as opposed to AEW, who really puts tag team wrestling on the forefront. I'm not opposed to giving, props here and taking props away here. I'm just trying to make it as even as I can. I think we've all agreed that WWE's tag division is kind of shitty. They buy into more, let's put the two top stars together that are arguing and make them win the tag team belts, and how could they ever coexist? That's what they love to tell that story, because they've told it 500 times ever since I've started watching it. But WWE or AEW actually invests in their tag team wrestling. You got guys like the Motor City Machine Guns there. They should have probably never went to WWE at all. I understand they'd never been there. They wanted to win the titles and just say that they won them. Whatever. Go over there and go do what you're going to do best, better over there. And it's interesting to see somebody like Takahashi come out. I believe his name is Kiyoki now. I think that's what they changed his name. It said something about I don't think he's coming over as Takahashi. WWE likes to put their fingerprint on everything.
Kelly Island zone.
What?
Kelly Island, I believe.
Yeah. They liked. Let's take a look here. Let's see if I'm right here.
Just a history, Kelly's Island, I think is what it was, where all the immigrants back in the 1800s, I believe.
Right. Okay, right here. We've got Shinsuke Nakamura has officially introduced his new partner, Kiyoki, the former Hiromu Takahashi, has arrived in WWE, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. Unfortunately, sometimes WWE doesn't really put a whole lot of respect on Japanese and Asian-speaking people. They kind of like to make them very kamikaze and everything is like, you know what I mean? Everything is, I don't know what you're saying. And it's a little stereotypical because, you know, not all Asian people, I shouldn't just say Asian people are like that. But I understand why you want to make something more appealing to the eye, but when you start to step on people's toes like that, I think you're starting to step on people's culture, and that really rubs them the wrong way. So I hope that they do good by Shinsuke and by Takahashi, Kiyoki, whatever you want to call him. And I hope that they win the tag titles. I hope that they do something cool. I hope that they have a run. What do you think about Takahashi being in the WWE?
I don't really know much about Takahashi, I'll be honest.
It looks like you got some work to do then later.
I do got some work to do later. Like I said, I have a hard time keeping up on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown right now.
Right.
But here in a couple of weeks, I'll be right up to beat with you.
Right.
After that, I'll have way more to say, and I'll be way more opinionated.
We've got a lot of moving parts in the wrestling world this week. There's been a lot of different stuff. No new news on the old Avery Styles situation. We haven't heard anything more in that situation. I think that one's kind of fallen down to the wayside. And we're going to be talking more and more about the product week in and week out. Shout out to Haku. Shout out to this amazing thing, breakfast. Hello, how you doing? That was amazing. Thank you, gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Haku for dropping an F-bomb last night.
Oh my god.
A motherfucking last night. Let's see if I can pull that clip up really quick and see if we can't find that, because wow, I was not expecting Haku to drop a motherfucking on SmackDown last night. I showed that to you last night when we were sitting here, and I almost couldn't believe what I had just saw. Where is my man? Here he is.
A brick fell out of my ass.
Now we can fight. Now we show them who is the mother here.
Shout out to Haku. I love Haku, the fucking most badass man in the professional wrestling business. If you don't know anything about Haku, please read about Haku. Look at the stories and the things that this man has done in the professional wrestling business, for the professional wrestling business, to protect the professional wrestling business. This is the last man that you want to pick a fight with, Haku, because he's older. He's older. He'll whoop your ass. Doesn't matter. That dude could be 85 years old, and I guarantee he'd still whoop your ass. That dude is legitimately, you can ask a lot of professional wrestlers that have been around for ages, ever since he stepped into a ring. They'll probably tell you that Haku is the most badass guy they've ever met in their entire life. When somebody is fighting off 5 cops by himself, takes the pepper spray away, sprays himself in the eyes, and gives the pepper spray back to the police and keeps fighting them, you got somebody quite crazy on your hands. But shout out to Haku. He's awesome. Great. I mean, are you going to tell him not to drop an MFer? Nah, I don't think you are. Shit, WWE posted it and said, you know what? Hell yeah. Exactly. Because, man, sometimes you gotta kind of, you gotta tweak some stuff. You gotta get under people's skin. You gotta make people believe. You know, if I'm fighting with another guy, I'm not gonna walk up to him and say, "What the heck, man? You're a poopy butt." I'm not gonna say that to him. I'm probably gonna say, "Listen here, motherfucker. I'm about to whoop that ass." That's what I want to hear when two dudes are fighting each other in the ring, because that's real. Shout out to Naomi. I hope she comes back soon, but she has this ability to make things feel so real. Like she is like that is really her. And that's what the best professional wrestling characters are, is just themselves. These people turned up to 100. And Naomi was doing such a great job before she had to step away with the she was doing such a good job making things believable, making me feel like, oh, I'm behind this girl. This girl's got attitude. She's ready to whoop your ass. She's ready to and she's not going to put up with your bullshit. So I think that the attitude in the professional wrestling business, the way that people carry themselves, specifically MJF, you see how MJF carries himself outside of the ring, outside of kayfabe. Kayfabe never breaks for him. You know, I've seen him.
Shove your kid.
No, that's what I was about to bring up. I mean, I've seen him spit on children. I've seen him. A little boy came up with a WWE championship belt and he wouldn't sign it. He threw the belt away. He wouldn't sign it. He told him to get the fuck off. He told him to fuck off. That's what a heel does, because you're not supposed to like him. Because when he's on screen getting his ass kicked, nobody wants to cheer him. They don't want you to cheer him. They want you to be happy that he's getting his ass kicked, not boo that he's getting his ass kicked. You see what I'm saying? They don't want you to cheer him when he does something. They want you to be upset when he does something, because he's an asshole. He's slimy. He calls himself the salt of the earth, like he's this perfect individual, but he's not at all. That's the problem with a lot of people, is that there's too many cool heels in pro wrestling. It's going back to what we were talking about, you know, selling your character and selling what you do and really believing what you do. There's too many people in the wrestling business that are afraid to have people boo them and not like them. If you want to be a heel, if they tell me that I'm a bad guy, I'm going to make sure that when you close your eyes at night, I'm the last thing you see, because you're scared. And then when I get my ass kicked and I get my ass handed to me by the baby face, I'm going to make sure that you get the best laugh out of me, because I'm going to look so ridiculous. I'm going to look so stupid, because I finally have gotten my comeuppance. I finally have gotten my ass handed to me for doing all of this bad for months and months and months. And now the babyface, bam, he does something to me. And that's that payoff for the crowd. It's not the championship. It's the same thing. It's the same idea. You're not fighting for a championship, but you're fighting for a payoff. You want to see your guy win. You want to see this guy. It's not even necessarily you want to see this guy win so much. You might just want to see this guy lose, the other guy lose that bad. So wrestling is all about emotion and feeling and attitude. And when you don't have that, it makes it really, really dull. And unfortunately, sometimes in the wrestling world today, I think that's what we're dealing with. And we really, 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 really need to change that. That being said, I got a plate of food in front of me.
You saying that, actually, LA Knight, I believe, said something about that recently when he was feuding with AJ Styles back in the day. They wanted to post him and AJ Styles next to each other after, like, a week after LA Knight broke into AJ's house, and he goes, "No, I'm going to throw hands with him," because.
And that was one of the best moments I've ever seen, because they were potatoing each other.
Exactly.
Those motherfuckers talked to each other and they said, "Hey, let's go out there and then have a beer later. Let's go out there and then we'll talk about it later. Let's go do what we got to do. Let's go make these fans happy." The only reason people know who we are is because of the fans. Let's go out there and give them what they're. This is WrestleMania. This ain't fucking Unforgiven. This ain't fucking Monday Night Raw. This is WrestleMania.
And one of the best decisions of LA Knight's career right there.
It really helped get more people involved into his career and his everything. Thank you so much. And that's something else I think I want to touch on before we sign off here. LA Knight, how do you feel? Because me and my buddies, shout out to my buddies that I watch wrestling with every Monday, Andy D and Andrew. I fucking love you guys. You guys are amazing. Shout out to you guys. One of the common topics that comes up between the three of us, specifically Andy, because he's a big LA Knight fan, is that the WWE is constantly kind of like shitting on LA Knight. And I guess I kind of play devil's advocate a lot to kind of see, you know, I think they're trying to give him more of just like notoriety than, because I think a lot of people want to see him win a championship. And that doesn't always mean something. You know what I mean? The championship doesn't make the man makes the championship. So I think that he just needs to keep going. He's getting more. It's not like people are becoming disenfranchised with him. That's right. You know, he keeps losing these matches, but every time he comes out, he's getting one of the biggest pops, and everybody's yeah. They're going crazy for him. So I don't think that people are losing interest in him, and I think that's why they continue to go down the path that they're going with him, because they feel like, well, we fucking still like him. So right. It's kind of like Cody. Cody came back to the WWE. Everybody thought he was going to walk into WrestleMania, myself included, and just beat Roman Reigns, and he did. And I was upset. I was like, what the fuck?
I was pissed.
And then we had a year build up, and I got even more invested into Cody. And I love Cody even more now because of that whole year, the hard times. If you follow Dusty Rhodes, his father, that's that hard times, Daddy. It doesn't matter, Daddy. I'm telling you what, you're just going to put your hand up to the screen, and I'm just going to be able to touch you, Daddy. All of those hard workers in the world, baby. That's those hard times for Cody. And I think Cody lives through those. As much as he wants to separate himself from his father, he is not just Dusty's kid anymore. That's Cody Rhodes. That's the American nightmare. Everybody knows that.
He is now starting the Rhodes' legacy.
Exactly. I think now he needs to play into things that his father has done back. Because if you go back, I get a lot of people telling me that Dusty Rhodes is overrated, and that's one of the biggest jokes of a fucking sentence I've ever heard in my entire life.
He is underrated.
If anything, underrated. Dusty Rhodes is one of the greatest minds of professional wrestling history. You can ask anybody, ask Jim Cornette, ask any wrestling historian, ask anybody, and they will tell you how important his existence, just him being there in a locker room, was to so much of the product that you grew up watching, or you went back and watched growing up as a kid. Dusty has done everything. He booked, he wrestled, he managed, he started his own company just like Cody did. And I think that there's so much right that Dusty Rhodes did that it gets almost forgotten, because they think of Dusty Rhodes as this guy in polka dots because of what WWE did to him and WWF did to him at the time, turning him from the American Dream into the common man. And what I find interesting about that is that Dusty he just took it on the chin. He just laughed about it. And he went out there and he made it wonderful, because there's so many other people too that's how they remember Dusty Rhodes, and they love that. And I think that both of them are great. I think the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Daddy. He's great. And the common man, somebody that can relate to everybody. I fill up your gas. I give you a pat on the back. I'm just like you. I grew up. I eat a steak the same way you eat your steak, Daddy. I love my pancakes with chocolate chips in them too. Just like that. And that's somebody that you can relate to. And man, you just want to run through a brick wall for him. And when Cody can maybe drop the suit and become a little bit more relatable and talk about growing up in Georgia. What was it like growing up in Georgia? What was it like growing up? You know, let's talk about that again. Let's talk about what it was like having your brother and your dad in the wrestling business. Let's talk about things like that, and maybe people can relate their own lives to yours, and you'll become even more endearing to those people.
Exactly. It's about having a brother and a father both whooping on you.
Right. It's in his blood.
Making sure you're not going to cry.
Shout out to Pondy.
Shout out to Pondy.
Shout out to Pondy, the mascot of the Wrestling Guy podcast. Pondapuzi.
Yeah.
That being said, I think we've touched on everything. I really want to eat this food because I'm having a great time munching on this. We've talked about what we have to talk about today.
We did.
We've done what we had to do. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We've done a live episode here. This is the first ever. More to come in the future. I'm going to eat this food. He's going to eat his food. And then I'm going to end up having to go back home to Cleveland. But
Oh, man.
with that being said, my name is the Wrestling.
I am Kyle Wild,
The Wild Child.
the one and the only.
And if you enjoyed anything you saw today, please hit like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff that YouTubers tell you to do. And please follow us every Saturday. New episode. I promise you, we're going to have it. Keep watching wrestling. Keep doing your thing. It ain't fake, bitch. I love you.
Click.
Peace.